I am genuinely scared for another Donald Trump presidency, and I'm going to quickly tell you why because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to bore you. So I'm going to go over this in just a few quick points, and I hope I can cover it pretty quickly. These are all things that Donald Trump or the Republican Party have put out or said. This is no speculation. This isn't even going to be Project 2025, which kind of wraps in with everything that he has shown he plans to do in his upcoming term. The biggest fear that I have is the loss of unbiased federal workers. Donald Trump has said in a video that I'll play real quick,
I will restore my famously successful executive order requiring that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated, and I will ask Congress to make it permanent. And I will sign a law to ban bureaucrats from taking any enforcement action based on informal guidance alone. I will bring the independent regulatory agencies such as the FCC and the FTC back under presidential authority as the Constitution demands. Finally, I will require every federal employee to pass a new civil service test demonstrating an understanding of our constitutional limited government.
That he is going to bring back an executive order called Schedule F. And essentially, Schedule F gives Donald Trump, or whoever the president is, a lot more power over what workers are in what are supposed to be non-biased agencies. Agencies like NASA, the Department of Transportation, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Commerce, Department of State, Department of Homeland Security, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, Government Accountability Office, Department of Treasury, FTC, National Science Foundation. These are all examples of branches that the president would now have even more control over. In the past, the president, and normally, most of the time, the president, by tradition, has the ability to change, a few thousand workers just to further fit their agenda, but not tens of hundreds of thousands, which this executive order would do. And Donald Trump tried to put this out in October of 2020, and it ended up going through. He was able to put that out, but, it wasn't enough time to be able to do anything too radical, and Biden, once he got in office, repealed the executive order. But Trump's plan from now on is to put back this executive order for Schedule F and at the same time make it permanent. Jobs that could be changed or fired are anyone who has a role in policy, agencies that work on policy, anyone who has supervision over attorneys. If you work directly with an individual appointed by the president, and the provisions apply to specific scientists, attorneys, regulatories, public health experts, and other senior roles in the government. So all of these roles would be able to be fired and changed up at will by the president. My next concern with Trump's presidency is the mass deportation campaign. So Trump and the RNC have vowed to carry out the largest deportation in American history.
It's not sustainable for our country. We are going to have the largest deportation effort in the history of our country. We have no choice. We will begin, and we have no choice, the largest deportation operation in American history. We're taking in people that are very, very sick with diseases that will be spread all over our nation. We're doing the wrong thing for our country. It's going to be very hard to recover from that, but we're going to start on day 1 with deportation. Okay? Does that make sense, by the way? Does that make right? Is there anyone in the room that doesn't get it? Because if you don't, please leave. We don't begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
I think this is a waste of taxpayer money. There would be more taxpayer money going towards the wall, too. And there would be a use of local law enforcement and National Guard to round up anyone they deem as an illegal immigrant, which to me is somewhat concerning because that gives me kind of a Gestapo vibe. It's already a waste of taxpayer money because these people aren't leeching off the federal government because they can't access the funds, because if they were to go into a federal office and try to get money from the government, they would get sent back immediately. So yeah, I think that this is a huge waste of money. I think it's stupid. I think the whole idea of mass deportation is dumb, and I made a video on that too. So if y'all are interested, please click on my channel and look at that. I did the math. To deport every single illegal immigrant, it would cost about $114 billion, which I don't think we have or should be spending towards this cause. So my next issue is, I believe that under the Republican Party or the current RNC platform, it is growing more justifiable to do political violence. We have militia groups like the Proud Boys, the Patriot Front, openly going up and harassing protests. And at the same time, Trump he's vowed to free all January 6th rioters on the first day in his office.
Trying to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. I would say it will be a large portion of them. They did a very... If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
The Billboard charts. Justice for All, featuring President Donald J. Trump and the J6 Choir.
So, it's just a growing trend of pardons for right-wing political violence. And I think that's a little concerning to me, because if we have militias or if we have random members going and committing political violence on, behalf of the Republican Party or on behalf of Trump, that sets a really dangerous precedent if they're allowed to get away with it. Another concern I have is Trump has no respect for the rule of law. I think, everybody says that and it's such a blanket term, but I'm going to list out a few reasons why that actually is a pretty valid concern. So first off, Donald Trump has no faith in elections. He has called every election he's been in rigged, and if he doesn't win it, then it's rigged.
There are books that are written on how the election was rigged. There are numerous books that were written on how the election was. I was listening to different people, and when I added it all up, the election was rigged. I would like to promise and pledge to all of my voters and supporters, and to all of the people of the United States, that I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. I stand before you today not only as your past and hopefully future president, but as a proud political dissident. I am a dissident. Remember this, I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Mr. President. The process is rigged. This whole election is being rigged. In 78 days, we're going to stop the radical left. We're going to win the state of Wisconsin, and we are going to win 4 more years. And then after that, we'll go for another 4 years because, you know what, they spied on my campaign. We should get a redo of 4 years. The rigged election. It's the only way we're going to lose. Because the only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged. Remember that. It's a rigged system, and it's a terrible system, actually, but it's a rigged system. A situation where they go after a political opponent. Persecution of a political opponent. Biden is trying to jail his leading political opponent, an opponent that's beating him by a lot in the polls, just like they do in Stalinist Russia or Communist China. No different. The Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy.
And then, believe it or not, he loses the 2020 election, and they file lawsuits in every single state. Trump lost every single case saying that the ballots in these states were rigged, yet he still goes on to claim that the election is stolen. To this day, he got caught using campaign funds to pay a porn star, to pay Stormy Daniels, an adult film star, to be quiet about the affair that they had. And, everybody's saying, oh, this is a weaponized DOJ, this is a weaponized justice system, Trump only paid someone. Yeah, he paid someone, but he used campaign funds to do that, and that's a big no-no among the law. You can't use campaign funds for A, lying about what you're using them for, and B, for expenditures like that. He was impeached twice. One of them was for the insurrection attempt on January 6th, and the first time was when he tried to withhold military aid to Ukraine, unless Volodymyr Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine, were to dig up and find dirt on his political opponent, Joe Biden. This is also a direct quote from Donald Trump. This is pretty concerning too. This was right after the election. Trump said, "A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for a termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution." So, it's pretty clear that he's just calling his opposition everything that he claims to want. I mean, his whole platform is, he said at the RNC speech that it's filled with, bureaucrats who have no orders, and they need to put more power in the hands of the president, and, the justice system is rigged, and we need to purge the deep state. These are all things that give him justification to carry out anything he wants within the government and gut it of any regulations, gut it of any anti-loyalists, the same way he's done to the Republican Party. That's my video today. I think that you guys should look into it. By far, I think my biggest concern is the renewing of Schedule F. That is literally, it literally sets up the grounds for Project 2025, and I might make another video on that. But it's seriously concerning. The fact that no one's talking about Schedule F, which Donald Trump has straight up said he's going to do on the first day in office, is insane. There's nothing stopping him. It is an executive order. The president can do it as soon as they want. So there is no reason as to why he wouldn't do this. If you guys are interested, please comment. I can make more videos on this, or I can make videos. I can make a video on Joe Biden if you guys want, because he's the opposition at the moment, or RFK. Whatever you want to hear. But yeah, I seriously am concerned about another Trump presidency, and I really think if you hold any of the Constitution to your heart, I think you should be as well. So thank you for watching, and